Alright, we previously created a table for our make-believe ski hire shop. We're now going to create a form for the user of the database so that they can have a user-friendly way to enter the data, because no one wants to just manually type here in the database itself. So we're going to go to create, and then what you should probably know is that if you were highlighting the table and then hitting create and hit form, it'll automatically generate one itself, importing all the data, but it won't particularly be very customizable. So what we're going to do is go form design, blank canvas, we can put in what we want. So this is what it looks like. It's got little grid lines, so you can see they won't show up later, because at the moment if we click up on the views here, we've got form view, that's what it looks like. Obviously nothing on it, and then design view. Right, obviously you're not going to just make up this form on the spot. You should probably design it first. So if you have a quick look right here, you'll see a design that I made previously. I just drew it up real quick. And then once you've sort of got an idea of what you want your form to look like, it's a little bit easier to create it. Otherwise, you're sort of not sure where to start. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to make you design it because I've already designed it for you. But just follow along and keep building it as you see. Right, so first things first, let's shove a title on it. And we're going to call this Raf's Ski Hire form, maybe sign up or something. If we want to change things like font size and all that, go format, and it just sort of like every other Microsoft program, you can change your colors. So I'm just gonna leave no fill, but I'm gonna make the font black. I'm gonna make it bold, and I'm gonna make it big as, there we go. The box might be a bit small now, so you just have to manually make that a little bit larger. I'm gonna shove that in the middle. There we go. Cool. Go back here to the design option. You'll notice there's a whole bunch of different things you can add. What we want are we don't want to manually put in all this stuff. We'll kind of use these a bit later. What we want to do is add existing fields here, which is this option here. And this shows our tables that we've made. We've only made the one. And now we can add all these things in. So we want customer ID, and we want last name and first name, etc. So just keep whacking these in. All right, now you'll notice that the box on the right is where the user enters the data, and the box on the left is sort of like a label that the user will see. Okay, so you can change this to be a bit more user-friendly. They're not going to actually type in customer ID, so that doesn't really matter. I'm just going to move this up a little bit so that it's just underneath. You probably have your instructions above. You'd probably right up here, please enter your details below or something like that. What I'm going to do firstly is group stuff in terms of, its context. So obviously this stuff down here, which is all the costs, this is all going to get moved down a little bit. If you hold shift while you do this, it should go in a straight line. And then date of birth and birth year and birth month, we probably want that all next to each other. So I'm going to just drag that over to there, and you'll notice this label went with it. So what we might do actually before we do that is delete the label for birth month and birth year, because we can just have birthday like that. Now we're going to shove birth month next to it, and we'll have birth year next to it. So now it's your stock standard. It's going to be like your standard drop down list where you select your day, you select your month, you select your year, and then you're all good. So we're just going to shove that over there as well, and then birth year. So just clicking and dragging, resizing boxes. There we go, not too bad. Cool. I'm going to highlight this part here and just make it take up the whole length so that it all looks nice. Now skier board is a drop down. Going to shove that just there. And now that I have looked at my form, I've realized in hindsight I've actually missed a field here that I should probably include. So if I was to save this form, and we're going to call it customer form, and then you have to close it. Go back to our customer hire table, go back to design view, and I forgot to add one more thing here, which should have been skill level. because usually when you go to a ski shop, they ask you your ability level. And this is also going to be short text. And we'll do this stuff maybe later. And so let's type it in here, skill level, and make it short text, which is automatic. Now we should probably move that up so that it's just underneath ski or board. And there we go. And now if we save this table, go back to our form. Sorry, we have to close this table first and then open the form. There we go. So this is what it's looking like so far. But if we go back to design view, we can add in that property which we forgot before, skill level, and drag that in. Now we're going to highlight all of these, make them a little bit larger as well. I'm going to group these together because these are all costs. There we go. All right, we're going to color in our instructions because they're grayed out at the moment, not particularly easy to read. So we're just going to go to format. I'm going to bold them. I'm going to make them black. That's fine. If you want to change font or whatever, you can, but this is usually pretty easy. Now we want to leave some instructions for our user. So if you go here to label and just draw a box, it's like a text entry box, and you just write here, please fill in all the details below correctly. I generally like to make it so that if there is instructions for a user that you highlight a different color so that they know. So I'm going to make my instructions for my users all with this light yellow kind of color as the background so that they realize it's instructions. What we're also going to do is align all of the number fields, which are these ones down here, to the right. Then what we're going to do is we're actually going to shrink them down a little bit. What we're going to do now is add additional labels that will be like the recommended higher price for these. And then if they want to put discounts on them, they'll write the actual prices in these spots here. So we're going to just go back to design, go to label, and we're going to draw a label in, and we're going to write, I think it was 75. So just highlight that. We're going to make it centered and black. And now what we're just going to do is copy and paste that a few times. All right, it might be a good idea to bring up your sheet here that tells you what our values were. Once again, real handy that we made this. So it was 75. And this is what it will probably look like now if we were to go back to design and then change our view to form view. So this is where we can type in what we want. Obviously, this is what the user, Biff O'Higgins, has already typed in for his cost, but we can change this manually. Just say we want to make it not 75 anymore. Maybe we're going to give him a discount of 65. If we were to save this form and then go back to the table, you'll notice that we gave the discount has already entered its value in right there and changed itself. So you can see that our form is correctly linking. We might just change that back to 75. Right now we need instructions for our user. Not particularly user friendly unless the user actually knows how to use this thing. We go back to the design view and we are going to go with labels again. We can even copy and paste the existing label which you've got up here actually. So Control-C, Control-V, drag it down. And we can change this one here, which is, and we're going to write here hire/purchase because lift ticket, and just put some spaces in, standard price, and then under here we'll have actual price. Okay, so we can then specify what we really want them to pay, and then what the usual price would be. So we can just move these along so that they sort of fit the labels a bit easier. There we go. We can probably insert another little instruction box there. So let's just copy that, paste that, make it a bit more of a square, drag it over here. And so we might just have over here some instructions for the user, which would be
enter in the price of hire, leave blank if item was not hired. Makes sense?
Might just move everything up a little bit because it's pretty spaced out. So that's what our form is looking like right now. It doesn't really have any validation applied to it. That's what we're going to do next. So if I highlight this and then go back to my format, I might just align it all to the right as well. Okay, so we've pretty much designed what our form will look like, and that's all well and good, but we need to make sure that we have some correct formatting and stuff for our form. So we're going to do that next.